Brendan, when was the last time the Astros beat the Reds?
I don't really know, but I think the last time Obama was the president. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reds Relay Podcast. I'm here, Brendan Hosser, with Matt Fry, as always. Jake Sanders is behind the camera. We're back after a really, really fun weekend, and we got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, if you saw the intro, obviously the Reds have swept the Houston Astros 9-0 in their last 9 games. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Going to talk about our weekend as well. And we're going to get into some Rhett Lauder talk as well today. So we got a lot on tap for the people watching and listening. First things first, kind of want to talk a little bit about the weekend. Matt Fry, what a blast that was.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun there. Finally getting some Reds players on the podcast, meeting a whole lot of people, gaining some followers. Just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, pretty cool. Going into the event, I didn't really think that we'd, have a chance to talk to a guy like Tyler Stevenson or talk to a guy like World Series champion Jose Rijo.
Yeah, we didn't even know he was going to be there, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think when we looked at the slate of players, but he was kind of the mainstay. He was there all weekend.
Looking back, imagine if Fraley and Benson did show up.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Could have had a shot at them on
to
the
get
podcast.
those guys as well. Obviously had William Hendon, Billy Backflips on as well. It was great to have him. Had Mason of Reds Daily on. So a lot of guests over the weekend. It was super fun, great atmosphere. It was good to see some new faces come up to our booth and start following this journey that we've been on. And it was just a really great experience, kind of a chance for us to put our face out there and get people following us. So I think we gained almost 100 followers on Instagram over the weekend. So if you're not following us, make sure that you are doing so. Matt Fry's got a lot of content that he's been working on, a lot of reels. What's some of the reels we've been cooking up, Matt Fry? Or do we want to talk about those, or do we want to save those for?
Up to you, I guess.
I think we'll hold off. We do have one coming out tonight.
Me and Jake behind the scenes getting some good hype videos out there.
So I guess this video probably won't be up when we drop the reel, but we do have. So I guess I can. If you're watching this, you've probably already seen the Cam Collier reel that Matt Fry made for us. It's pretty cool. So we got a lot of really good content coming out, and Matt Fry and Jake have really been, around the center of that. I kind of just sit here and talk. That's kind of my thing. I've been running the Instagram a little bit, but these guys have done a tremendous job and had a lot of help over the weekend, and the team's been great. So just kind of wanted to talk a little about that. Also, we have a pretty cool announcement to make. If you've been on our Instagram recently, there's a change to our bio. Matt Fry, tell the people what we got going on right now.
Yeah, we are now a part of Reds Daily, officially affiliated with him, and thanks to Mason for that one.
Yeah, so obviously Mason invited us to the event, and we worked with Wilder Side of Sports as well. But then after the event went really well and everything. And by the way, Reds Daily, what a team. They're fantastic people and very flexible and ran the show really well. But they invited us to be affiliates of Reds Daily. So we are now officially a direct affiliate of Reds Daily. So if you're not following Reds Daily, go follow them as well. So yeah, a couple key announcements there. But, I before we get into some Reds baseball talk, I also want to talk about, I've been asked some questions, what is going to be the plan for this show once the Reds season, ultimately ends, because at this point, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. I've kind of gotten some questions. So I kind of wanted to clear the air a little bit and talk about some things that, are going to be happening in the future during the off season. Coming as far as still during the season, we plan on doing a live, well, not a live, I shouldn't say live, but a vlog of a vlog video of the Rhett Lauder and Paul Skeens matchup that apparently is going to happen, I've been told, at Great American Ballpark when Pittsburgh comes to town. So we got something working on. We've been working on something for that. We're also going to, once the postseason starts, I think me and Fry kind of decided we're going to do some postseason podcasts as well.
Yeah. Love October baseball. There's a lot to talk about in there. And
so we'll be doing some of that. We might do some live streams of some of the games. Obviously, we cannot show the games, but we'll do some watch parties and stuff like that. Reds Fest will be coming up in December, so we have kind of been working through some stuff to plan something for that. So we'll have some content for Reds Fest. And, honestly, we try to come up with most of the ideas, but it's the viewer really that is the ultimate decider of what we, the content that we produce. So, we're looking for, leave some comments on YouTube, leave some comments on Instagram, go to our top post, things like that.
I think after the Reds season, it'll look a lot more like the Joey Votto video that we put out, like that kind of style.
Yeah, so some more highlight clips, some stuff like that. We're still going to do some podcasts here and there. They're probably going to be shorter videos, maybe some, we're going to talk more general baseball. We'll be talking some free agency, moves in the off season. So, kind of keep it open to you guys. So, leave some comments down below, what you would like to see. We obviously look at all of those comments, DM us. I've got some DMs over the weekend. What do you guys want to see? What kind of reels, what kind of YouTube content, things like that. So, and then the other thing that I want to talk about is we are going to do another giveaway at 250 Instagram followers. So if you're not following us yet, make sure that you're following us on Instagram. Once we get to 250, we will do, I think we're going to do it live is what I would assume. I think we'll go live on Instagram and YouTube, and we'll do a giveaway at 2. I'm not going to tell you what we're giving away. We have decided already, but we are going to do that at 250 Instagram followers. So with that being said, enough of the boring stuff. Let's talk some positive Reds baseball, Matt Fry. What a week it's been for the Redlegs. A couple key players have really owned this American League West leader. Obviously, starting with game one, they win 5-3. Pretty good all around game. I was at the game. It's fun atmosphere. There was actually a lot of people. It was Labor Day on Monday, so it was pretty good atmosphere. A lot of fans. Good to get a win. The Reds in the last, I think they've played them 3 times in the last 6-7 years. I think since like 2016 or something. And they're 9-0. And they just, I don't know why, but they beat the good teams. They beat Houston. They beat the Dodgers. But really Houston, they just they've absolutely beaten up on them. Verlander did not have a good day. 4 2/3, 5 earned runs. He was walking a lot. The Reds bullpen was spectacular. Aguilar wasn't great. They pulled him kind of early, 2 2/3, 2 earned runs, and then the bullpen went the distance. Matt Fry, let's talk a little bit about Ty France and his week.
Yeah, he's been incredible. What is he, 9 for 11? That's a big spot for him to be in that lineup right there, and you can't take him out. He's our hottest hitter.
Yeah, and I kind of want to get your opinion, because we've talked in previous shows, about guys that we want to keep, but is it worth paying them the money? What do you think? The arbitration is going to be around $9-10 million for Ty France. So I kind of want to get your opinion on what do you think about if Ty France continues to hit, and doesn't fall off a cliff. He's not going to stay this hot, but if he stays consistent the rest of the year, would you like to have a guy like that back?
I mean, I'd love to have him back, but probably not on that contract. And if everybody's healthy next year, we would have Strand back and Candelario. And then if we add him in the mix, or someone's not going to be playing, and you're just paying too much money for those just two, the Candelario and France right there.
Yeah, and I kind of get that, and that was my take before, when we first started discussing this. But I think with Ty France, like you're saying, like that money, like is it worth taking a risk on a guy that has, not had the success as of recent? And I'm talking the last couple of years, he's kind of started to decline. And do you take that risk and give him $10 million? And then, maybe Strand comes back next year and is one of our better hitters. We started him up in the 3-hole this year, so we kind of thought we were going to get the production from him. So, do you take that risk and say, hey, let's bring this guy back and just kind of see what he brings to the table? But again, that's $10 million that you could spend on somebody else.
Yeah, and you already know what Candelario is capable of. He led the league in doubles a couple years, and I think he's just struggled with some injuries. And he never really got hot other than maybe a week or two in the season.
Yeah.
And I think they'll probably stick with him. They're paying him good. They expect a lot out of him.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely a piece that's going to be either they're going to use him for a trade, just to even out the money, or, he's going to be a part of a playoff team, and I don't know, but I think I would like to have Ty France back. I think I'm on the Ty France train right now. I think I'd like to have him back. It's just another veteran bat, and another guy that had a good series was Santiago Espinal. I think you're going to be able to get Santiago Espinal for cheaper because he was an unsigned, or he was a minor league signing.
Minor league deal.
What do you think his price range is for a guy like Espinal?
I honestly don't know, but I think you should pay him because he's has been one of our best hitters,
and he's versatile
since the All-Star break.
Yeah,
and they've been throwing him in left field. If he can play an outfield role, he can find an everyday spot in the lineup playing whoever needs a break or whatever.
Yeah, I mean he's cut down the strikeout. I mean, it's kind of funny. We were talking about a future video how we're gonna do. We're gonna go through basically our grading scale of each player. How we did the ranking towards the beginning of the year, and it's kind of funny to see how we had Espinal so far down the list of viable players, and he over the last month has probably been their most consistent player.
Yeah, what was Jake? You might remember the stat. It said his last 30 games he's batted over 400.
Yeah, he's been.
He was batting 419 going into yesterday's game.
419
over his last
30
40
games.
games.
That's a month.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. That's a month plus almost. With the off days, but he's been great. I'd like to see. I think Santiago is more of a must than Ty France, just because Santiago is so versatile. He's so good defensively. He is that prototypical, guy that the Reds signed in the for a minor league deal before the year. We didn't know if he's going to make the team out of spring training. Somebody gets hurt, he makes the club, and he does well. They've had guys like that in the past. They've had the Derek Dietrichs of the world. Santiago's better than Derek Dietrich, but the Brandon Drurys, and last year they had Kevin Newman. I mean, this guy's so much better than what Kevin Newman was last year.
And he's staying consistent. It's not just like
he's not right.
A fluke week.
And it does help that he's playing a lot, because obviously Marte has not been what we thought he was going to be coming off the suspension. But I would like for them to keep Espinal, and Ty France is. I think Ty France is a guy where if we made a move and we kind of got our club set, and he's still out there, I think you say, all right, let's bring him back. But I don't think you make him a priority, if that makes sense. We kind of got off on a tangent there, but I want to talk a little bit about that because a lot has changed with those two players in the last couple of weeks. They win game one, 5-3. Bullpen was great. Ty France 4 for 4. Espinal had a little poke to right field that drove into, pretty good game all around. They actually brought Wilson in to close that game, which I thought was a little surprising, even though Diaz has kind of struggled over the last few weeks.
Yeah, they're kind of staying away from him. Although I think he closed today.
Yeah, they used him today, which was good to see, come in a one-run game and slam the door on a sweep. But moving on to game two, the Reds' offense just went ballistic. They scored 9 runs in the first inning, which I think was like the most in 10, 20 years.
It said 2001?
Since 2002, I believe. So
Okay.
over 20 years.
Okay, so 2002 was the last time they scored that many in the first inning. 12 runs overall and 14 hits. India hits the leadoff home run to kind of set the tone, which was a bomb. 436, I think is what it was. And Nick Martinez was, I know he has his moments, and it's kind of funny. We were just talking about players that we think they need to bring back. I think Nick Martinez is an absolute must for next year.
If his arm doesn't fall off, David Bell loves pitching him.
Yeah, I mean he's pitched a lot and so many different roles. They've used him as more of an opener for that 2 innings and then brought in Spires. They've used him as just a full length starter, like they did on Wednesday. They had the off day Tuesday, and he was great. 5 2/3, 7 Ks, 1 earned run. He's very good at working around base runners. I feel like.
I don't know why David Bell kept him in so long. It was 11-2 or something.
Okay.
And he's at 100-something pitches.
I kind of thought about that too. I thought, I mean, not that they're saving arms for the postseason.
Yeah.
But, you would have thought that, okay, 5 innings.
He's pitched so much this year.
Yeah, he got his win. And it's not that his innings are that high, but you got to think he was, at the beginning of the year, he was starting. Okay, and then they changed they changed the dynamic of how they were going to use him. So they were using him as a high leverage, 8th inning guy for a while. So he's got a lot of high stress innings on his arm and a lot of, he's pitching on short rest a lot. He's been so valuable. To me, I think he's probably our second most valuable pitcher we have behind a healthy Hunter Green. So he's been spectacular, and I think that he's probably number one on my list for guys that need to come back next year. And then I would probably say Espinal would be number two. But overall, and then Ty France had 3 more hits. Ellie went 3 for 3. They just had everything rolling in the first inning. I think Ellie hit that ball like 70 miles an hour, and it bounced over the first baseman for a 2-run single.
He almost hit the plate and it ended up bouncing over.
Yeah, so they kind of had a few things go their way. But they played well. Put the ball in play. They didn't strike out a lot. And Houston has good pitching. Eric Getty, I believe is how you say the starter's name.
He's been hot lately.
Yeah, he was like the hottest pitcher in August.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was pitcher of the month or anything, but I know that they had a stat before the game that he had under a 3 ERA through the month of August. It might have been under a 2. I don't know. He was pitching lights out. But they got to him early, and he only went 2/3 of an inning. So, and then you get to game 3 where, it looked a lot more like the old, or I guess the inconsistent Reds offense. They only score 1 run. Ty France home run just stays incredibly hot. But Rhett Lauder was fantastic, Matt Fry. I mean, so good.
Yeah, I caught the first couple innings of that game, but he looked pretty good. He's still walking a little bit, but 0 runs. I mean, you can't really ask for too much more.
I think, he can get away with the walks, unlike a young guy, like when a young Hunter Green came into the league, or even a Nick Lodolo, where those walks kind of mount up for those guys because they don't have the ability. Like, Lauder has the ability to make 1 pitch and get out of an inning. The ability for him to get ground balls is so huge for pitching in Great American Ballpark. So for him, to be able to just flip a sinker or a changeup up there and they just punch it into the dirt and boom, you're out of the inning. He can live with 4 walks. He could probably live with 5. Obviously you don't want him walking that many guys because that creates more stress that, his outings go not as long, but he only struck out 3 guys and he had 4 walks. If you showed me that, just that part of the stat line, I'd say, okay, he probably only went 4 innings and probably gave up 5 runs. But he was lights out and against a very good, experienced Houston offense. So they win 1-0. Not a lot to talk about in that game. Diaz looked pretty good. Tony Santillan, another guy I kind of want to touch on a little bit, has been spectacular out of the bullpen. I want to get your thoughts on this. Now Diaz closed today, looked good, but let's say that Diaz has some more struggles to end the year. Is the closer, position, is that up for debate for next year with Tony Santillan? Because he's been perfect.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a debate to talk about. I remember earlier in the year we were thinking it'd be a debate between Cruz and Diaz.
Yeah.
And Santillan's filling in a role that the Reds needed. And I know Justin Wilson also closes some games. So there's going to be... I mean, I don't think the closer spot is guaranteed for next year.
Right. And I just look at Santillan like...
Same thing happened with like Edwin Diaz. He lost his closing job.
And you see that more now. Everybody talks about all these elite closers, but I feel like the leash for them is a lot shorter. Because these games are so high leverage and they're so magnified by media and everything. So there's a lot more, attention on these relievers. But man, Santillan has been, nothing short of spectacular. I mean, the stuff is off the charts. The fastball's up, in the upper 90s. Is that what's the percentile there, Jake, for the velocity?
94th percentile.
Okay,
he's
94.
averaging 97.
Yeah, so he's obviously, he's the hardest thrower they have in the pen. Now, it doesn't always correlate to outs, but, the slider's been great. Just coming and throwing strikes. And I just kind of feel like with him, and short sample size, because obviously when he came up, we tried him as a starter. He wasn't great. He had some ruts in the bullpen as well. But this year, it just seems like when he comes into games, he's never erratic. He's not that Lucas Sims or even Diaz at times, Fernando Cruz, where it's like he goes in the game and immediately after the first pitch, oh boy, like when Diaz goes in to close a game and he, whips a ball to the, that's 6 feet off the plate and almost hits a dude in the head. Like, you don't really see that from Santillan, even as hard as he throws. And Fernando Cruz, spiking a lot of pitches. And I just feel like Santillan is a lot more under control on the mound. I feel like he understands his body and his mechanics and how to get the ball over the plate consistently. He threw well in the minor leagues. And I don't think he has any options left either. So
I
think
don't think any of the bullpen do anymore.
other than like
They didn't have
as
any
far
options.
as your
I don't know if
your
any-
back end guys,
Yeah.
yeah. I think maybe like your lower end guys like your Casey Legamina.
Well, yeah, this is when like Emilio Pagan he's back,
Pagan's,
but like
yeah.
like when everybody used to be healthy and we had Sims and
Yeah.
nobody had any options left.
And I know it's kind of like one of those things like, what have you done for me lately? And that's why I'm talking good about him. You know, obviously I'm not talking this way about Fernando Cruz anymore because he's been horrible recently. But Santillan, I feel kind of comfortable when he's on the mound, and there's a confidence, and for a fan, like I just feel like, when Sims would go into a game or Diaz, it's like, oh my gosh, I hope that, he's going to be around the plate. Because it just gets so out of hand so quickly. But I feel like Santillan is just kind of solidified. He's at least solidified the 8th inning role for sure. I mean, he's been so good. Wasn't just electric getting that double play to get out of the inning for Rhett and strand the runner. That was huge. So yeah, pretty fun series. It's fun when Houston comes to town and they're not the defending champs. Or wait, who won the World Series last year?
The Rangers.
That's right. Okay, I was like, yeah, sorry. I know I'm probably gonna get roasted for not knowing that, but no, but yeah, 2-time champs. A lot of players on their team that have been around and been there and experienced team, a good team, and they take it to them once again. I know it's hard to hear. Like Reds fans are just so frustrating. Like you want to enjoy this week of good baseball, but it's so frustrating because they're getting swept by teams like the Tigers, and they're losing 3 out of 4 to Pittsburgh.
And then go ahead and sweep in the Yankees.
Yeah, they sweep the Yankees, sweep the Astros. They beat
the Dodgers.
Yeah, so it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's encouraging to see these guys, still competing when they haven't been eliminated, but kind of out of it. I think they're still 8.5, 9 games out of the wild card. So yeah, I mean it's kind of over. This is kind of a big weekend here. If they somehow were to find a way to sweep New York, I think maybe that gets them back in the picture. I don't know. It's a long way to go and not enough time to make up that ground, I guess. I don't know what your kind of stance is on that. Do you feel like
pretty much out?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to sweep another probably 2 series.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And I think that's why we were actually just talking about this before the show to kind of take a different route here. Talking about Matt McClain, and Hunter Green really. But
yeah, we thought he'd be back by now.
I kind of talked to you about this, but do we bring Matt McClain? Like, I don't see any reason to bring Matt McClain back.
Yeah, I think you should just probably put him in Louisville. Maybe if you do anything with him, maybe get him some at bats in Louisville.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you should call him up.
There was a thing on Twitter today talking about winter ball. Like CES would be in winter ball. Just some of the guys that didn't get a lot of at bats and they're going to be healthy by that time. McClain was a name thrown around. Even like Marte, just because even though he's been up for 80 games, he hasn't really played that much. I mean, he's only played like 2 or 3 games in the last week because Santiago.
Yeah,
Santiago Espinal.
I have honestly forgot about him. I haven't seen him in forever.
Yeah, so I think they're going to send some of these guys to winter ball to kind of get them some reps before spring training, kind of get ahead of the game. Because right now they're behind, obviously. But I don't see any reason to bring Matt McClain back. I think the only way that you bring a guy like McClain back is, again, like you said, like if they win like 6 more in a row, and they do what they did, what was that, last year, and they win 10, 12 games in a row or whatever.
Even if they get that 12-game win streak, we're 9 games out, and Atlanta is the last wild card spot, and they are 13 games over 500.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the season it's over. Other than maybe if they win 12 in a row or something crazy
now
like
they
that.
need
But
to start looking into what they're going to do.
how to
next
improve
season
for 2025.
and
Yeah, I
what
agree.
guys they need to stick around.
But that's my point. Is like I keep getting reports about McClain. It's like, let's not bring him back, please. Like, because here's what happens: is he'll come back, and with the Reds' luck they've had this year with injuries, he'll be fine. He'll do awesome for a week, and then boom, he'll get hit in the hand, and he'll break his hand, and then it'll be like, okay, well now he can't get reps in the off season because he broke his hand and he's rehabbing from that. You just avoid more problems. I think it can even be worse. He dives for a ball and aggravates his shoulder again.
Re-hurts his shoulder.
And then we go back to where we were in April. So, I don't foresee him coming up. And if he did, it would be a little bit disappointing on the front office's end. But looking into some future games, we brought up New York this weekend. The Reds will have, they're actually throwing the same guy each 3 games to be determined. So we'll see how he does. They have no starters lined up. So I think this is not a good matchup for them this weekend. Obviously, the Mets have been pretty good as of late, and they're facing 2 left-handed pitchers, Sean Manaea and Jose Quintana, who are kind of the catalyst for like when the Reds struggle. Is those guys those left-handed pitchers that don't throw very hard, low velocity, have a sinking fastball, changeup, that kind of combo. So I'm not feeling super great about this weekend. And then they see Luis Severino, who's been pretty good this year, for Game 3. I don't know, so yeah, we kind of touched on it earlier, but leave some comments and kind of what do you want us to, what kind of content you guys want to see in the future. This isn't going to be a super long video, just because we're kind of winding down the year. We don't have a ton to talk about. Obviously, the series has been great with Houston. We have New York coming up. We do have some reels lined up. Like I said, if you're watching this video, you've probably already seen the Cam Collier edit that we dropped. It'd be tonight as we're recording this, but so yeah, check that out. Make sure you leave a like on that, and make sure to follow us, because once we get to 250, we're going to be doing the giveaway. Not going to tell you what it is right now. We will announce that when we get closer to 250. And I kind of want to, before we get into our baseball reference for the day, I kind of want to just give a thank you to everybody listening and everybody watching. I know me and Matt Fry have talked a lot about it the last week. The support has been unbelievable. Our reels have been doing really well on Instagram. A lot of views, a lot of likes. Getting some DMs here and there. It's really been awesome. We kind of sat down. I think as soon as we kind of got back from the summer, and kind of talked about how can we really get this thing going? Like the Reds aren't doing great, but how can we really start to push out some content and really start to get a following? And we're still very small, but we're working to get better and to put out more content for you guys. So we just want to thank all the viewers and everybody that's subscribed. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way. Now that I'm done ranting about that, let's have some fun. Jacob, what is our theme for today for Baseball Reference?
Today's theme is Home Run Derby participants.
Okay, so this is not winners. This is participants. Matt Fry, do you know these guys, or are you playing along?
I'm playing this with you. But...
Okay, so Matt Fry is playing along with me. Let's see what we've got for our first one. So I've got it on my screen. I obviously don't have the name here. If you don't know how we would do this, Baseball Reference, so Baseball Reference is a stat website where you can type in any player of your choosing, and it'll pull up basically his history of where he played, when he played, his position, some of the awards, and obviously all of his stats. So I have exactly what you're seeing on your screen is what I'm seeing, and I'm going to try to, me and Matt Fry today are going to try to guess the player. And we've started doing themes now, so we're doing Home Run Derby participants, as Jake told us. So our first guy, do we have the Cleveland? Yeah, the Cleveland guy's up there. Okay, so we have a 2014 debut with Cleveland at 24 years old, primarily a first baseman. His home run numbers actually don't jump off the charts, but he had 35 with Milwaukee in 2018. So that would be the year I think that he was in the Home Run Derby. Is it cheating to ask when he was in the Home Run Derby?
I think he's only been to one All-Star.
Yeah, but
you're right.
You don't have to be an All-Star to be in the Derby.
He was in fact in the Derby in 2018.
Okay. If you feel like that's cheating, Jake, and you don't want to give me that information, you don't have to. It's up to you. I'll leave it up to you.
Whatever you need.
Okay. All right. So 2018, he was when he was in the Derby. He led the league in sac flies. Matt Fry, did you know that? All right. So we got a Cleveland, and then so he really didn't play in Cleveland. So we're not going to look at that too much. First baseman with Milwaukee in 2018, and he was an All-Star. Really good year. Milwaukee first baseman, I think guys like Rowdy Tellez, but, he obviously started with Toronto. Justin Smoke, he also started with Toronto. Those kind of guys, 28 years old. with Oakland last year for 36 games. Do you have any idea who this is?
I don't. I can't.
This is kind of a tough one to start off with. Man, and then Miami, he was.
Just try to think who won the All-Star.
Ooh,
the home
wait.
Derby in 2018. If you
Is this? No, he played more. He played more third base than this. Is this Travis Shaw?
This is not Travis Shaw.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think he's been in a home run derby, so it's got to be like a bigger name. 2018. So who?
I was gonna say, can you even remember who?
So where? Okay, 2018 would have been. Where was that at? So 15 was Reds, 16 was Padres, 17 was Miami, and then where was 18? Can you tell me where the All-Star game was in 18?
This was in D.C.
Okay.
with the iconic Bryce Harper moment.
Oh,
thanking his dad.
okay. Wow, who was in that derby, man? And he played first base. Wow, this is a tough one. I can't get stumped on the first one.
Do you need a hint?
Oh man, I don't really want one, but I feel like as soon as you give me an initial, I'm gonna get it. But he just didn't play a lot for other teams, and in that 2018 Milwaukee, I can't think of. Oh wait, no, this isn't Eric Thames either because he played with Toronto. All right, give me the first initial.
How about he is not American?
Okay, so he's okay. So I'm going to assume that he is probably from like the Dominican Republic or something. Okay, he's nodding his head at me. Wow, that doesn't really help me out. I can't lie. Oh my gosh, I don't know who this is. You might have. I mean, he's not playing this year, is he?
No, he's not.
I assume he's retired or he's like something.
Not sure, actually.
Is he right-handed or left-handed?
He's right-handed, I believe.
Oh, that sucks. Right, dude,
getting stumped.
I am getting stumped. I actually don't have any idea who this is. 2018.
The first initial is a J.
Oh, that doesn't help me. Jay?
Juan Soto.
Yeah. Like, I just keep seeing Justin Smoke. But that's not right because he played with Toronto. I know it's not Justin Smoke.
This is a name you know.
I'm sure it is. No, not James. Not James, like James Loney. He played for the Dodgers. Jordan. Give me both initials. Gosh.
The last name
I'm selling.
begins with an A.
Dude, I have no clue.
I figured you'd know
J.A..
this. A Milwaukee Brewer from 2017 to 2019.
An A? Last name? Did Josh show you who it is?
No.
Oh. Jackson, Jordan, John, Jameson.
He's Dominican.
Not American.
Oh, that's right. He's okay. Wait. I know who it is now. See, I wasn't when you said that, and then I heard the J. I know who this is because I think he has a card in MLB The Show from the Home Run Derby. Jesus Aguilar.
This is indeed Jesus Aguilar.
Yeah. That's a stump just because I had to use like 4 hints. Not a good start to
He was a first-round exit in 2018 with 12 homers. He lost to Rhys
Jesus
Hoskins.
Aguilar. Yeah, bounced around. I kind of forgot he started with Cleveland too. All right, number 2, hit me. A second baseman. That's rare for a home run derby. All right, so we got 2012 debut at 25 with the Minnesota Twins. This guy had a good career. A lot of ding-dongs as a second baseman. Gold Glove. Kind of surprised he didn't have any Silver Sluggers. Those are like top-tier second base numbers. 42 home runs as a second baseman for the Twins. They weren't great during these years either. Oh, you know who this is. I know who this is. I'm not going to get stumped on this one. This is Brian Dozier.
That is correct.
Yeah, Brian Dozier was a stud. Would have liked for him to have worn a Reds uniform.
He was also a first-round exit. He only hit 2 homers in 2014.
Are you serious? Oh, well, that was before the...
That was back when they did the out format.
2. Come on, Brian. We can do better than that. I mean, he hit 42 home runs in 2016. Jeez. Good player. Good player. Underrated player. Didn't have a very long career, but this next guy had a long career. Let's see. We got a 2004, so dating it back a little bit, with the Toronto Blue Jays. Finished top 5 in the Rookie of the Year. Did you know that last one? I didn't even give you a chance to like. All right, so a Toronto Blue Jay to start his career, and then the White Sox, and then jumped around a little bit. Texas, Kansas City on the World Series team. They won it that year. Yeah, because they were in it in 2014, but they did not win. Okay, I have like a face because I remember that Kansas City team very well. Trying to think who's in that outfield. This is not Aoki, because he was not a power guy. But he didn't really have a jump out year as far as home runs, so it had to have been early in his career, probably with like Toronto or something. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
He competed in the Derby in 2007.
Oh boy, I don't remember that home run derby, probably because I was barely watching baseball at that point. So, okay, White Sox. The White Sox is speaking to me a little bit. He played a lot of games with the White Sox. 304 one year. Wow. Okay. Primarily right field. Okay, I know who it is. Yeah, I know who this is because he was on the World Series team. It clicked. This is Alex Rios.
Good.
All right. I'm still mad about my first one.
In 2007, Alex Rios was the runner-up, finishing with 19 total homers, losing to Vladimir Guerrero Sr.
Oh, wow! I wouldn't have known that. That's pretty cool. I think I've met Rios because when I was a little bit younger, I met most of the Kansas City Royals roster when they won the World Series. I don't know if I ran into him or not, but I know I met like Kane and Salvi and most of those guys. But that was a fun team. Alex Rios, that's a name. That's one of those throwback names and kind of a underrated name. I love these. These were good today, Jake. Great work.
Thank you.
I'm still mad about the first stump though. Jesus Aguilar, dude, I should have gotten that because Milwaukee, the All-Star game with Milwaukee, and then the Miami. Yeah, I didn't know he ended his career in Oakland though, and I didn't know he even played last year. But all right. So I get stumped. Once again, that's back-to-back episodes. I think I've been stumped. Well, are we counting the last one?
What, the
one during the Votto one? Because you guys had to give me initial.
We'll leave you off.
Okay, so I've gotten stumped once. All right, you heard it here first. All right, so we're cool. Hopefully next time I go 3 for 3. But love doing the reference as always. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we're gonna end today's episode. We're gonna try to keep putting out content, like I said earlier. I don't want to keep hitting on it again, but so let us know in the comments what you guys want to see. And I think we're just gonna kind of leave it at that, Matt Fry. So yeah, make sure that you guys are following us on Instagram because we're gonna do the giveaway at 250. And then you can follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Listen to us on Spotify. And here's now we're getting our tags up. Yeah, Twitter as well and TikTok. Those reels will be going up on TikTok and YouTube as well. Make sure to follow and subscribe for more so you don't miss a thing. We are out.